Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. The holidays are big travel months. Travel in recent years has seen a resurgence in the long-dreaded bed bugs. If you stay in the wrong spot and bring those devils back to your home this holiday season, the team to call, Southeast Termite and Pest Control. They've been helping people get past the bed bug issue for many, many years. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, and I want to send out my condolences to the Haynes family who had a loss in their family this week. These are really, really good people. They've been great for this show. They've been great at my house. Give them a shout. Good East Tennessee people for 50 years, Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Okay. Vols fall 71-53 to number 5 Villanova. Neither team shot particularly well, but UT bottomed out 5 for 28 from three-point range. Turned it over 18 times to Villanova's 7. Things went sideways right off the bat, too. Tennessee shot 5 of 22 in the first half, 1 of 11 from three-pointers in the first half. 15 first-half points versus 14 first-half turnovers. Is that the worst half we've seen under Rick Barnes?
I kept thinking about the Oregon State game in the NCAA tournament. I thought they were just right there, nip and tuck, as far as how bad.
Yeah.
But
It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is up there.
Kennedy Chandler,
Yeah.
0 of 5 in the first half. He goes then picks up his second foul. Barnes sits him. Villanova's lead grows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of that. They're doing more and more analytics on that, tracking coaches who sit their players after 2 fouls, and you're finding that you're better to keep them on the floor. But is this team going to rise and fall with Kennedy Chandler all year? Is that what we're looking at? If he doesn't play well, they're not going to win?
The concern is you rise and fall a lot with him and the three-pointer. I like Kennedy Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
I know that some
I do too.
people right off the bat said this is the best point guard to ever play in Thompson-Boling Arena. And I'm going to pump the brakes on it. Let's see how he does against Villanova because they have a really good point guard in Colin Gillespie. He got outplayed by Colin Gillespie. And look, Chandler's going to rebound and he's going to have some great games. But, Tony White was a pretty good point guard. And so I do think Chandler will be a really good player, but I think their success will be related a lot to him as well as the three-point shot.
Yeah, yesterday was a terrible day for Tennessee.
Awful.
There's good that can come from it for Kennedy Chandler, seeing what it takes to play at the highest level at that position because the guy he went up against, a preseason All-American, it's a team that's played in big games. Villanova looked like a team that had guys coming back having played in big games and had just played against UCLA. Tennessee hadn't played that kind of competition. Obviously, they have to shoot better. I think Rick Barnes, he was probably as frustrated with the turnovers and just the toughness, the way Tennessee responded to what Villanova did early. Tennessee didn't respond well. If they do in the future, then we can look back and say, hey, that game taught them something. If they don't, then it's just a sign of where the season is headed.
Chuck, last year, Tennessee didn't fire up a lot of threes. This year, they're shooting more.
Right.
Since he's been here, we haven't seen Rick Barnes use a lot of zone. Went to it yesterday. You seen a little different attitude with Rick Barnes, maybe, or am I reading too much into this too early in the season?
No, I think there was some self-scouting over, how things had gone. And when you look at it, John, I think this needs to be more about how this team rises and falls if you go through more John Fulkerson and more through some of your post because that's
your post
Rick
wasn't
Barnes.
good yesterday either. You weren't good in anything yesterday.
I mean, and that's what you wondered about, and it's easy to overreact. That's a really good basketball team. But what is your half-court offense trying to do besides just pass it around the perimeter and then fire up a three and don't get the rebound? Yeah. So that's what we'll look for. And I know you wanted to get on to maybe the next game. So
yeah, but I also wanted to mention, let's give Santiago Vescovi credit for 23 points yesterday.
Right.
But today, 3:30, Tennessee plays North Carolina. They lost to Purdue yesterday in their game in this tournament. First loss for new coach Hubert Davis. Going to be interesting seeing North Carolina without your same old guy out there. What's your question? What's your view of Tennessee's basketball team rebounding today? And I don't mean that literally rebounding, but bouncing back against North Carolina. Do you expect them to play better today than they did yesterday against Villanova?
Absolutely.
Well, you can't play much worse.
Yeah. Well,
but you could play better.
Villanova had, 2 graduate seniors playing. They had another senior that was playing, had a junior that was started. That's a team that's been together. It's a veteran team. North Carolina is not made up that way. And so I expect Tennessee to shoot it better, to play better. I don't think Kumwa is going to have a 0 by his name on the points scored. I think Tennessee will come out and play much better. In fact, I think they'll beat North Carolina.
Yeah, I agree. I think what we're watching, it goes back to the start of the segment. Kennedy Chandler, how does he respond? Because he is going to drive a lot of where Tennessee goes. But then key players, Kamwa, who's really important in the post, Josiah Jordan-James, with all that he can do, he had a really bad game. Again, most of the players did, but those are the guys I'm going to watch first, and I expect that they bounce back and play better.
And I was surprised Villanova was only favored by 2 against Tennessee. I thought that was low. Today, Tennessee's a 3-point favorite. So we'll just see how that goes.
It'll be interesting to see how much the Carolina has changed. I have not seen them play this year, so I don't know how much they have. Hubert Davis, of course, was on the staff there with Roy Williams, so I don't know that he's going to change much. But it will be interesting to see if there are tweaks that are made to North Carolina's system, North Carolina's game. When we come back, let's talk about the Vanderbilt rivalry. Where does that rank among Tennessee's year-in, year-out rivals? If you could only protect one, what's the first one you take? What's the second one? How far down the list do you have to get before somebody says, oh, you want to protect Vanderbilt? We'll come back and discuss that, and then we got picks for the game. Chuck's got to set the line, and we'll see if somebody on our panel can go undefeated for the first time ever. Come on back.